What is up, Buckeye Nation? Floco here, Ohio State football with Scarlet and Great right here on YouTube. I got my good friend, my brother from another mother, my definite brother in Christ. How you doing, B. Moses? What's up, brother?
I'm great, man. It's Monday, first day of the game week. I'm extra geeked up. Got a lot to say, and my annoyance with TCUN Nation is just otherworldly right now. So let's get it.
I love that now we're calling the cheaters up north just forever. It's funny. In our group
Yes.
chat, you have been saying TCUN for a long time. I didn't know what it meant. And then I watched Buckeye Football Fangirl, and she said the cheaters up north. I'm like, ding! There, it just registered with me. Um, B, man, just give your overall impressions the last 3 weeks. There's so much to go over. Just sum up your overall impression last 3 weeks with TCU and Nation up there.
Man, that's a hard thing to do, but I will
Yep.
certainly try quickly. So we've always known, as long as we've followed this wonderful sport called college football as fans, even if you're not a Buckeye fan out there, you've caught wind of the delusion and arrogance of scum, Wolver Queen Nation, I like to also call them. By the way, TCUN also stands for the Champions of Unadulterated Narcissism. Okay. I'll get
I would
more
never
into
have
that.
guessed that.
Yeah, I coined that phrase. So, make all checks payable to B Moses.
All right, dang it,
You
where's
know,
my checkbook?
yeah. So look, so to summarize it, we've seen that arrogant, delusional spirit from them for so long. But now with this scandal, we see it all kind of coming to a head. We're seeing the worst of that monster, like literally from the fans of every level, from their boosters and their blue checkmark fans down to their little low valley trolls. They're all insane. They're insiders feeding their followers and subscribers all types of garbage, literally throwing stuff up against the wall, hoping it sticks. And it's been utterly ridiculous. So you ever seen the movie Liar Liar when Jim Carrey, he beats himself up in the bathroom and he tells the judge, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, it was a desperate fool at the end of his rope. You know, you know what I mean? Like that is Harbaugh and this program, because listen, when this is all said and done and the dust settles, we're going to see all the receipts. We're going to see all the levels of cheating. Everything's going to come out. All right. And we're going to see a desperate program back in 2020 and beyond that basically said, screw it. We're going to cheat. We're going to do whatever we can to get off the schneid. And now we're going to see it all collapse, and it's going to be glorious when it's all said and done. It already is glorious to see their tears, but we need to go out there and handle business this Saturday to really put that scarlet cherry on top. And I believe we're going to do that, but we're going to get to that more.
Handling our business is right. B. Moses. Look, I think Ryan Day has got an opportunity of a lifetime here to drive a stake into the heart of that program. Because if we come in and we win in the fashion that we have been accustomed to, I'm not saying it's going to be a 30-point blowout. That's a little bit optimistic. I do think we can win by 7 to 10 points. But if we go into Ann Arbor and win, it really lends credibility to the fact you only beat us because you were cheating, because you were doing things that were illegal. And just for the record, for every Michigan fan watching this, and I know you're out there, every Michigan fan watching this, nobody is saying sign stealing is illegal. It's the way you did it that was illegal. I don't know what is so hard about this. You say you're the Harvard of the West. I'm questioning that right now. So, Brandon, help me out here, man. What is the malfunction here in the connection of what they actually are accused of doing? Because, I mean, we've been watching Michigan fans all week, or like 3 weeks or whatever it's been. Dude, I don't get it. I've given up trying to explain it to them.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen different variations of narrative. So basically, you have the insiders or the leaders of their fan base that people listen to, either flat out denying that it's against the rules, or they're minimizing the impact of what they did. So you got kind of those things, and then you got the lower level more casuals who who are led around by the nose. They're listening to their insiders and they're believing everything they say without actually researching. They didn't go read the Big Ten's letter that they wrote back to Scum. in response to their little childish letter that they wrote, basically not denying the infractions or anything like that. So you got people just going along with what these leaders, so-called leaders, are saying. So I do believe some of them are just so delusional that they don't think they did anything wrong. And there's some that they know that it's against the rules, even though they vehemently denied it up until they were just cornered. Now they're trying to spin it to make it seem like it's not a big deal because Purdue and Ohio State talked about our signs. They have our signs. And, so everybody had each other's signs. Like, no, it's not the same, bro. That's disingenuous. And at this point, they're dying a slow death, and they're willing to scratch, claw, rationalize, justify, lie, believe whatever thing and anything they want to believe to just kind of soothe their soul as they head towards the deathbed.
Yeah, but we have to ask the important question. Well, we have to ask the important question. How deep does it go with the Ryan Day crime family? I mean, look, Ryan Day clearly hired a PI firm just to take their program down because he couldn't beat him on the field. So, look, I'm ashamed of my coach. I got to admit, I sit there and I trust him. And, he talks about mental health issues all the time. Clearly, his mental health is not good if he's hiring a PI firm. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the Ryan Day crime family. I mean, he's leaving horse heads in coach's bed. Nice. I mean, he's just
Jim Harbaugh's waking up in bed going,
getting cats whacked with one phone call. Like, but nah, man, listen, this is beyond pathetic. And look, Steve DeAce, if you're out there, brother,
oh boy,
I'm extremely disappointed in you. There was once upon a time that I actually respected your opinion, that I thought you were somewhat rational and solid and logical. This psyop garbage, it's a psyop. It's a psyop. This garbage and this tinfoil hat conspiracy garbage you're spewing, bro. Like I can't even describe the disappointment I have for you, man.
It's sad. Yeah,
it's sad and pathetic. That's all I'll say. Hopefully you hear this.
I hear you, man, and I'll tell you one thing. Anybody who watches this channel knows I lean right, politically speaking. I'm not going to hide it. So I used to listen to Steve. He's got me questioning all of my political beliefs now. After seeing how nuts he's gone on this one. I'm like, maybe he never had it together, and I've been listening to the wrong people for years. Like, maybe I'm in the wrong, okay? Because, wow. Watching his threads is like watching somebody's mental capacity just unfold right in front of you. Like, I mean, even Johnny comes on the channel and says he sounds like the incoherent ramblings of a madman now. It's like, wow. I would like to think. Now, Grant, we all defended Tressel on Tattoogate because that really, to me, was just stupid. Nothing. I didn't care about that. But I'd like to think, Brandon, one more thing on this whole cheating scandal, we'll move on to the actual game.
Sure.
As Buckeye fans, we would be, intellectually honest enough to say if Ryan Day were caught doing something that was clearly just wrong, like this, not the PI firm thing, that's okay, but actually getting people to film other people's games and steal their signs that way. I'd like to think we'd all say, Ryan, that I don't even care if you have your job at the end of the day. That was so wrong and sad and pathetic that you stooped to those levels to beat somebody. I mean, wouldn't you? Brandon, I know you. You were an honest cat, dude. And you would probably be calling Ryan Day out first.
Listen, there's no way. There's no way. Like that is beyond embarrassing and pathetic. Like, period. Like, I will be ashamed as a Buckeye fan. Listen, I would be ashamed. I would be hiding that. Yes, as a podcaster, I would call him out. But I surely wouldn't be out here trying to justify it and spin it and blame everybody else but him when clearly we all can visually see the receipts. There's more and more evidence piling up. Nah, man, that's just, come on, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is not about a hate scum thing or we just hate them and we just no, like, I don't care what college this was. This is pathetic on any level. So whatever they get coming down the pike, they deserve it, because not only did they cheat on another level that we haven't seen in NCAA history from a competitive advantage standpoint, they've dug their heels in and doubled and tripled and quadrupled down and thumbed their noses wherever that term came from. I never understood where that term came from, but it works in this instance. Like they thumb their noses at the commish and try to play him like he was just some clown. He's a Harvard grad, Harvard law grad. Like in the Big Ten, like it's just the arrogance. It's just like, are you kidding me? You deserve to lose, man. I hope we do. We'll get. I'm getting ahead of myself, but y'all deserve everything y'all got coming to y'all. Period.
And now I have one more question on this. I apologize. It just popped into my head, B.
Now keep going. Keep going.
Does this cheating scandal, look, we're putting it to bed. We know what happened. Okay, I'm not playing this whole alleged crap. We know what happened. All the receipts are there. Does it taint the rivalry, or does it help it? I would argue it helps the rivalry, and here's the reason why. Obviously, tensions rise, and that's the obvious answer because between two programs, two fan bases. But the rivalry is so important. So important. We were so dominant of it. They had to resort to cheating to save Jim Harbaugh's job. That's how I look at it. Like, that's how important that game is. They have to resort to actual unprecedented cheating acts to actually beat us.
Yeah, and you know what? This is one of those things. It's going to take me time to process. I can give you my initial thoughts on it.
Okay, yeah.
But this is a heavy hitter of a thought to kind of conclude. Because on one hand, I hear what you're saying, because shoot, this is surpassing the SEC levels of poisoning trees and all that craziness. Like
that's child's play compared to that.
Right. So that's definitely, you definitely have a point. But then on the flip side, I'm thinking like it's hurting the rivalry as far as the integrity of the
integrity's hurt. That's true.
Rivalry. Like this has always been a respected, clean game. Right. You know what I mean? Like all of that. So this is a level of pathetic, because Steve Diaz would say, well, Woody used to shut the water off and all this other stuff. Okay, Iowa painted their bathrooms pink. Like, first of all, where's your evidence of that? Maybe it did happen, but where's your evidence? But this is another level of just ridiculousness. And not only were they caught doing it, what they're doing in the aftermath of being caught is what's taking it to a whole nother level. So it's going to take me some time to have a final determination about that. But I do think you have some credence to your point about the importance of the game.
Just remember, Brandon, they're America's team that's against everyone. So it's fun. It's too much fun. All right, let's get to the
levels of stupid.
It is, dude. It is. I don't even know what to say about it anymore.
But yeah.
Let's get to the actual game now. Let's talk about the big question mark. This is what I've been hearing all year. Kyle McCord. Now, listen, let's just say up front, we know he's not CJ Stroud. We get it. We know that. And frankly, I went back and watched highlights of Ohio State version of CJ Stroud, not even the Houston Texans version, the Ohio State version. Came away going, oh yeah, Kyle's not close. And it's not close.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm not dogging Kyle. Not very many people can throw the ball like CJ Stroud. CJ's in that Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes level of throwing the football. Yeah. Kyle, to me, is a average sometimes to solid QB. At times he looks pretty solid. Other times it's like, wow, how did he miss that? But I maintain he doesn't have to be CJ to beat Michigan. And he just has to be good. He doesn't have to be otherworldly ridiculous, like 400 yards, 5 TDs, good. He just needs to be 250 yards, a couple touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. And I'd say that's pretty solid of a day, and he manages the game, gets the ball in the hands of playmakers. Brandon, you've been awesome about Kyle. You've been honest about him this whole time. You've given him time to develop. I know how your opinion's been solid, steady across the board with him. What do you think he has to do to beat Michigan?
Yeah, and just before I go into that, I concur. I said this to, on podcasts with Kirk Barton in Nevada and on my page at the beginning of the season that the same thing. Kirk does not have – I'm not Kirk. Kyle –
Kirk Barton does not have to be CJ Stroud.
Right. I don't want Kirk Barton out there throwing the ball around. But Kyle doesn't need to be CJ. He doesn't need to be some otherworldly – quarterback. He just needs to take care of the ball on this Saturday. Number one, be smart with the football. If you're going to throw the ball, be confident, step into your throws, make good reads, And, we have so many weapons. First of all, Kyle's not a stat chaser, but those stats will come by just simply running the offense and executing the offense. I believe we're going to have an awesome game plan. Like, I think our game plan is going to be great. He just needs to execute. And then when he does get pressure, he just needs to make sure he makes the smart QB play, because that's the one thing that Mincer and the Snom defense is banking on. They're going to try to turn him over. They're going to try to get him to make a mistake. And so if he doesn't make the mistakes and he makes the routine plays routinely, I think we're going to be mortified. Like, to me, the reason we lose this game, or one of the reasons, is if Kyle has a bad outing and that defense takes advantage of some bad plays. But I got confidence in Kyle that he's going to step up.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'll say for Kyle this year is when you're wondering, like, if can he even possibly get it done, he gets it done. I mean, not pretty all the time, but he'll get it done. Now I know, and I'm saying this to the people who are just constantly, I can't ride with 6. It's like, dude, he's your quarterback. Just get over it at this point. I'm just over it. But yeah, we both agree. Kyle just has to be good. He doesn't have to be, CJ or Dwayne or Justin or whatever.
Right.
Just be a good version of Kyle. Don't be I can't think. Don't be the Indiana Hoosiers or that. Don't be that version of Kyle. Be Michigan State Kyle. Now, obviously, having Treveyon and Henderson the back is a huge boon to this team. He's been a beast,
man.
And I'm so happy for him, by the way. So, what changed it for him is when he used my clip in his promo video earlier this year.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he has Shane Larson.
Oh, I did see that. It was was it like the doubters or something? Or
I said, well, he's been injured last year, and people are doubting him, and that was the first thing to come up. And I was like, see, that's what changed it for him this year.
That was dope. I remember that.
No, I love Treveyon. He's obviously one of the best in the country, top 3 in the country. When he's and honestly, what he's improved on this year has been incredible. His vision, his patience, everything is improved dramatically. When he's healthy, he's an otherworldly player. But and I can go on and on, but I won't. But anyway, now our run game has come alive. It was dormant for several games this year. Now it's come alive because of him and because we kind of changed our scheme a little bit.
Yes.
Normally in this game, whoever runs the ball better wins. If you would have asked me that week 7, I'd be like, geez. I just don't know if we could put together the run game. Right. But now with Treveyon hitting on all cylinders, what kind of impact can he have on this game?
Oh man. Listen, I'm so excited about this kid being back. And yes, I will pat myself on the back. I was one of the ones in the beginning of the year who was saying,
you have the receipts. You have the receipts.
Don't sleep on him. And people were, he's too injury prone and he doesn't have good vision. And Mayan Williams is better. I love Mayan Williams, but I was like, pump your brakes. But yes, after the Maryland game, to your point, when Justin Fry was getting hammered by the press, because remember, Joe Clapp during that broadcast, he really was bringing issues to the light in front of millions of people of what was going on with our run scheme. And we kind of knew in our chat going back and forth between zone scheme, gap scheme, what our line does well, even just new linemen getting their legs under them. After that point, Fry mentioned that he was going to simplify things and that they were going to focus more on hat-on-hat gap scheme type stuff. And that's what we've been doing since then. And you see the, the growth and maturity and the O-line getting confident and Josh Simmons out there looking good and not getting his name called for false starts and holdings. You know what I mean? And then you add Henderson to that, just bolting through those holes like crazy and breaking tackles and this run game is compared to Scum is clearly popping off the screen. Scum has low-key been struggling to run the ball, like especially when you compare it to last year's efficiency they had. They're not as efficient, man. They're struggling. Obviously, they're going to give a great effort this Saturday. They're going to try to play their best, but I believe our defense is more than up for the task of what they do. And I don't think you can just flip a switch to go from what you've been struggling with to just, otherworldly, just, oh my God, Biaka Batuka. I don't.
You're hurting me, man. I don't want to hear that
see
name.
that happening. So I love that Henderson is in this game. And not even just the run game, but the fact that we got this dude for screen passes. We got him for, just in the flat and underneath stuff. And
Those
he's
check downs.
gone
Yep.
if you don't. Yeah, man. Like Henderson not playing last year was huge, and him playing this year is huge. And I don't think Scum fans understand the impact that he has in this game.
You're making me feel worse and worse for CJ because last year, Henderson gets hurt, clearly got hurt.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a huge weapon. And JSN's out. He basically had his leg ripped off in the first game and never recovered. And Marvin, look, we all know Marvin's great. We all know that, but it did take him a minute to get to that status. I mean, it wasn't like him and Emeka Egbuka just came out and they were just lights out, right away. I mean, that's not on CJ. CJ knew the offense in and out,
Right.
So, and you're making me feel a little bit bad for him. It's like, geez, he did kind of have, and the defense would not show up in big games. So it was,
I mean, listen, I love Trainum. Trainum is great for what he does.
Yeah.
But he start last year? I mean, Mayan played a little bit, and even he was banged up. Mayan was banged up.
Everybody was banged up. They're like down the line, just banged up. And
Right.
Evan Pryor with friggin' ACL tear. So
yeah, I mean, so listen, it is what it is. But yes, CJ was in a tough spot with not having his weapons. You can't tell me having Henderson in that game last year didn't matter. And they're going to see this year how much of it. Like I keep telling y'all, listen, y'all Scum fans out there. Listen to me. You can go ahead and play it down if you want. Wait till that young man get out on that field this Saturday and you see that speed running past your linebackers, and you will get the revelation at that point if you haven't already.
Yeah, they haven't seen a talented guy like Treveyon this year. That's a fact. So, okay, moving on. One more thing on offense. Marvin Harrison. We got to talk about Marvin. Maserati Marv is
Maserati Marv.
Johnny hates that, so say it as much as you want.
That's why I said it.
Exactly. Oh man.
That's why I said it.
So I actually, in my opinion, you're going to see a clinic from Ryan Day on how to get a playmaker of football. I think you're going to see 15 targets from Marvin. I think you're going to see 10, 11 catches. I don't mean he's just going to go. He's going to do the shallow crosses. He's going to do the hook patterns. I mean, you're going to see a route tree like you haven't seen with Marv all year. I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think we all know how important it is to get Marv in football, especially in a game like this. What do you expect to see from Marv, especially with Emeka still kind of tender from his injury? Cade Stover is a really good tight end, but he doesn't command like the attention Marv gets. Obviously, Will Johnson, who got toasted against Maryland for what it's worth. Versus Maserati Marv. What do you see going on with Ryan Day?
So, listen, Marv is very humble and he's quick to deflect when he's brought up when people bring up awards and accolades. He's like, it's about the team. One thing he's been constant about since last year is his goals: beat the team up north and win a Big Ten championship. That's one thing he has pointed out and has always talked about. So I think we're going to see the best of him, the best effort. And I know some people have questioned his effort at times. He doesn't look a little, not into it at times. And that could be a misread, but I don't think we're going to see any of that this game. I think we're going to see a killer unleashed to another level. I really believe that, but it's going to be partnered with Day scheming him up. Because they're going to try to bracket him, cloud coverage, and roll a safety over, and and then I know Dylan earlier in the chat mentioned how they like to run a lot of zone, and what man principles and mix it up and try to confuse Kyle. Listen, our pre-snap motions and eye candy that we do with Ryan Day is great at identifying man defense. Like, for people who watch the game, you wonder why you see the motions and the different things you see and calling cats over. That is pre-snap reads to try to get the defense to show their hand and get as much before the snap as possible. Just some nuggets for y'all. But I believe Day is definitely going to be in his bag, and he's absolutely going to target Marv. But Egbuka looked really good in that Minnesota game, the best he's looked since his injury. So if they want to overcompensate, I'm confident Stover and Egbuka will make them pay for that.
I think you might see we always get a freshman performance in an Ohio State win versus Michigan. I think you're going to see a Tate performance this time
Ooh, I've
around.
been thinking about that too, man. I
Yeah,
hope so.
I just think they're with their I think with their concepts, Ryan Day is going to pull the trigger and say, hey, look, we're going to use Tate on the boundary a little bit, but watch out because Amuka, gosh, I'm combining his name, Egbuka and Marvin will play some of the slot, but they're going to draw the attention. Look towards Tate's direction, man. I think this is the Tate coming out party potentially against Michigan. I think if he has a coming out party, we definitely win this game. But let's move on to the defense. B.
Yeah.
Some people are concerned that we're getting gashed a little bit in the run game here and there. I still maintain that's part of the bend don't break defense that we play.
I agree.
We always stiffen up around the 50-yard line or the 40-yard line there and leave him a little bit out of field goal range, it seems. Let me ask you something. Are you concerned about Michigan? I know Michigan struggled to run the ball a little bit more this year. They've had some big runs here and there lately against Penn State and Maryland, but they do on a consistent basis struggle to get the 4 to 7 yards they usually get. In fact, I think Blake Corum's only averaging 4.9 yards per carry, which under normal circumstances is solid, but for Michigan standards, that's not that great. Do you think our defense is what makes them up to the task? Because their interior line of Michigan is really good. The tackles are questionable, but the interior line is good. What makes Tyleik Williams, Michael Hall, who's going to be back, Ty Hamilton, maybe see some Hero Canoe in this one a little bit. What makes them up to the task to stop the run?
Yeah, so for one, we've seen consistently all year that, like you said, even in games like Rutgers, where Rutgers had some success, in a couple drives, we bowed up and we stopped them. Now, obviously, you can think, and even Notre Dame, and you can kind of think like, man, that's kind of dangerous. But one thing Noah said after that game was the game plan was to kind of he told the team that we're going to give some yards up because of the scheme we're going to be in. It's going to be containing that running quarterback. So we're going to give up some yards, but we're going to, bow up. And he doesn't like don't break, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
So with that said, I think some of that was schematic and really for big picture purposes, but it's all about this game. Last year, besides the cheating, gap assignment and lack of discipline against the run and over aggressiveness unnecessarily in certain spots contributed to some of those gashes. So number one, philosophy wise, that's going to be changed so that it's more suitable to stop the run and be more patient and be more disciplined. But then the personnel upgrade, Tyleik is much better than he was last year.
Yes, he is.
Right. Mike Hall, he's a smaller, D tackle, but he's much more consistent with his physicality and using his speed and athleticism, as opposed to, just kind of relying on strength, which is not his forte. I'm not saying he's not strong, but he's twitchy and athletic.
Man, he called Michael Hall weak. Michael, that's on you, buddy. You can answer that however you want to answer.
Yes, see? And so I think also Sonny Styles, having him in there to be used as a Swiss Army knife in the run game. If the tight end is leaked out, he can guard him. If they're running the ball, he can step down in the box and he's physical enough to take on guards and and tight ends and whatever. So I just think schematically, personnel wise, and the consistency we've seen all year, these boys are ready. It's all about this game and stopping the run. If we stop their run and keep them out of third and short, it's going to be a long day for the team up north.
Yeah, I hate not having Lathan Ransom for the game. I think he was coming in his own, having a great year. And honestly, kudos to Coach Eliano. He's got them safeties playing, boy. I mean, they're just playing great. Proctor has had a complete come to Jesus turnaround this season. I'm so happy for him. He's been on the team since 2018, man. I remember seeing him on special teams against Maryland in 2018. He's been around forever.
Yeah.
So he was one of those guys I thought would transfer out, would never quite pan out, and here he is, like playing like an all Big Ten player. Thank God he's back. When he got injured a couple weeks ago, I thought, oh geez, please don't be out for the Michigan game. We need you, buddy.
Right.
What they're doing with Jahad Carter, Sonny Styles, and Josh Proctor and others is actually really kind of cool to see. You're right about that's such a great point. We bring up Sonny Styles. He wasn't playing last year. And if it was special teams or something. But the added element of Josh Proctor and him both in the safety room against the run game, who can also cover areas of the field in the pass game, is such a key versatility for this defense.
Yeah.
I agree with you also not being overly stupid aggressive. Like, I mean, I love Knowles. I think Knowles is a great D coordinator. I think he's 58, 59. I don't see him going to be a head coach anywhere. So he could be
Yeah, neither.
the guy for Ryan Day. Like, you just coach the defense, I got the offense. I think this year they'll be more prepared for him. We're going to see chunk plays every now and again. It's just going to be our defense. You know, you can already see Brandon. You can see Buckeye Nation on Twitter already, just freaking out. You know, because they got to the 50-yard line. You know, then they end up punting. um,
Right.
You know what I want to see? Jack Sawyer continue his improvement,
Mm.
and JT both tee off on those tackles because they can be had. We saw it against Penn State. What do you think about Sawyer coming of age against Minnesota and how it goes into the Michigan game?
Oh, man. Jack looked great. I mean, he was all over the field. I mean, he was making highlight type tackles, you know, that you put on the pump up videos. He was physical at the point of attack like you're supposed to be in the run game, stuffing, got a sack. I mean, that's the Jack Sawyer that, you know, we've been kind of hoping for. And I think with him being a hometown boy, coming off that great game, I think he's going to really get after them tackles. And I was checking out Zach and Chris. Zach was talking about how vulnerable their tackles are as well on film.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it myself as well. What's the other kid's name? Is it not Barner, but Barnhart or
Something
the
like
left
that,
tackle?
yeah.
I forget his name, but he was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
He was struggling. And I think JTT, man, I mean, he just makes plays in big games. He may not be, you know, people, I guess, expect everybody to be Chase Young, you know, after Chase Young left. But
dude, it's CJ Stroud on the defense. I mean, you expect them to be otherworldly, you know?
It's like, listen, that's not his skill set. I mean, he can get sacks every now and then, but he's a disruptive playmaker. He's just going to make plays.
He's Cam Hayward in 2023. That's what he is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, and it's just get it done, and he will get it done. What I want to see is Sawyer and Simon and JTT all just sack JJ McCarthy at the same time and just slam him to the ground and wipe that smug little grin off his face. I think that's going to happen.
B. Moses is promoting violence here on Scarlet and Great against a kid who was clearly cast on Say by the Bell back in the 90s.
Zach Morris. Yeah,
he's the villain to Zach
got
Morris.
A Zach Morris type of vibe.
Yeah, jeez. Except Zach actually had a heart once in a while. But yeah,
every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. If Slater would do something stupid, he'd feel bad for him. But no, you know, yeah, I for some reason I'm just confident in this game. I don't know what it is. People keep telling me, "Oh, Kyle McCord's got to be perfect, this and that." I'm like, Michigan is far from perfect, dude.
Right?
They've been looking very human the last couple. Oh, since Connor Stalions isn't there, looking kind of human. You know, yes, they're better than Maryland and Penn State. They are, and they're a good team. They got a lot of talent. I'm not claiming they don't. I'm not claiming we're going to go in there and dog walk them now because Connor Stalions isn't there. I'm just saying maybe now, little even the playing field. Now, let me ask you, how big a deal is it that Jim Harbaugh is not going to be there?
See, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up because Steve DeAce, just real quick, I'm not just trying to just focus on Steve DeAce. He's not the only, delusional scum fan on the beat or whatever, but he's just been spitting out some doozies lately. But what he's been trying to do, this is what he does. He'll lay out the excuses subliminally, beforehand. So basically he said, you got to fire Ryan Day if he loses this game because we don't even have our coach. You don't have our coach, right? But the thing is, Harbaugh is coaching the team throughout the week. He's helping with the game plan. He's in the practices. Mm-hmm. He really doesn't do a lot in game because he's not calling plays. Sure, he has a headset on. He's the head coach, but he has coordinators. He's not like Ryan Day where he actually calls plays, right? So he's clock management. He's making sure everything's running, but he's not calling plays. Like, to me, losing Ryan Day would be a much bigger impact than losing Harbaugh. So, and like I said, he's coaching during the week, preparing his team. So I think it's a loss, but I don't think it's a significant loss as people are trying to make it, in my opinion. I just don't. So that's just how I see it. It just sucks to not have his have his face on the sideline looking extra salty and goofy when he know he about to lose.
Yeah, I think this year, especially if we lost Ryan Day, it'd be more impactful than because we don't have Kevin Wilson in there who could call plays, So it's like if we lost Ryan Day, I say, well, Kevin's an experienced play caller, but Hartline's literally not. It would be like, okay, Justin Fry is, but who's calling the plays? You're gonna bypass your offensive coordinator and say, okay, Justin, you're calling the plays. I mean,
yeah.
So I agree. That's a good point. It'd be much more impactful if Ryan Day were not coaching. B, let them know where you're at, man.
All right. So Twitter, bmoses30 at bmoses30 on Twitter, or just b.moses. Find me that way. Facebook, Buckeye Sports Talk with B Moses on Facebook. Same on IG. Same handle on IG. I got any more platforms I'm forgetting about?
There's a million of them, dude. Yeah.
Buckeye Scoop. You can see my podcast. I do podcasts every week with Kirk on Kirk Barton on Buckeye Scoop, and I even do my own podcast as well. Everything's uploaded to that channel, so you can find my videos there as.
Awesome. I'm going to link them all as much as I can find. I mean, my goodness, I'm going to have to do a huge Google search to get all his platforms on here. But down in the description below. B Moses, man. One last thing. Score prediction.
Ooh. Ugh.
I wouldn't leave it. I wouldn't let you off the hook, man.
All right, man. So I'll be honest with you. My conservative, safe, nervous rivalry score,
like Steve D's,
is 27-23 Ohio State. But I feel a 10-point win or more in my gut. I do. I feel a 10-point or more win in my gut, but I'm too rivalry nervous to declare it. But I'm going to go on record with the 27-23 Ohio State.
I'm sticking with 27-17.
I like it.
I think the defense finishes off the regular season without allowing 20 points in a game. And then they go to play Iowa in the Big Ten title game. And if they allow 20 points in that game, I'm pretty much fired Jim Knowles at that point.
True. Now that would be great, man. And if we don't give up 20 points the whole season, chef's kiss.
Yeah, that just give him a raise. $2 million ain't enough at that point. But anyway, B, man, I'll let them know where you're at. Catch them on Twitter, like you said, or on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or freaking Tinder at this point. I don't know where you're just doing everything. Just doing it.
TikTok. Hey, and make sure y'all like and subscribe to this channel. Do it now. Do it now.
Appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, B Moses said to do it. You got to listen to B Moses, man. His name is literally one of the main characters of the Bible. So you just all right, B. Why don't you send us out, man?
I mean, I was called to lead the people. I was called to lead the people. So but nah. Listen, love y'all. Go Bucks. Rivalry week. We got this. This team is prepared and ready for this game. And Scum Nation has been underestimating Ohio State. They're trying to superimpose last year and those results onto this year. Last year ain't this year, and this year ain't last year. This is a whole new game, and them boys going to be ready in the big blouse on Saturday.
Big blouse. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Goodbye. God bless. And of course.
That's what I call it.
And of course, I'm stealing it. Of course. Go Bucks, baby.
Go Bucks.